Hi everyone, today I'm going to teach you on how to solve word problems. The focus is going to be on number relation problems and we will use linear equation to solve these problems. I will give you 3 examples here. Let's go to the first one. When 7 times a number is increased by 5, the result is 40. Find. So the first thing we will do here is we will try to translate word and phrase into mathematical symbols. So here we go. 7 is 7, we know that. Times means this is a mathematical operation, and that means multiplication. Now you might be thinking, let's use x for that. No, x is a variable in algebra, so I will just use a dot here, which means that's multiplication. A number. Now this is crucial right here because this is the part of your problem that you need to convert into a variable. So 7 times a number that we don't know, so let's say that number is our x, okay, is increased by, again, that's a mathematical operation, means addition. 5 is 5, obviously. The result is, that is again, there is an equivalent symbol for that in mathematics. That means equal sign. 40 is obviously 40. So now let's put those symbols and numbers together into an equation. 7 times a number increased by 5 is equal, or the result is 40. Okay? So once you establish the equation, all you need to do is to solve for the x in this case. So the first step here is minus 5 on both sides. That is subtraction property of equality. So 7x equals, so 40 minus 5 is 35. And then divided by 7 on both sides. So x equals 5. All right, let's go to the next one. One number exceeds another number by 4 if the sum of the two numbers is 32. Find the smaller number. Okay, the last, or the question, or what is being asked here is very important because it was mentioned about what is, or find the smaller number. It's mentioned here, the smaller number, but the bigger number is, we don't know, right? But it's implied that there is obviously a smaller number here. So the first thing we need to do is to come up with a representation of a smaller number and a bigger number. So what will be our smaller number? What will be our bigger number? So we will start with that. Let's read again the first part of the problem. One number exceeds another number by 4. All right, so that means, all right, that the difference of those two numbers is 4, or the smaller number plus 4 equals the higher number or the bigger number. I said plus because of the word exceeds. That is a mathematical operation that means addition. So which means that our smaller number is x and our bigger number here is x plus 4. Now let's go to the second part of the second sentence. It says here that the sum, if the sum of the two numbers is 32. Now the two numbers we are talking about here are the smaller, or is the smaller and the bigger number. All right, so smaller number plus the bigger number, smaller number plus the bigger number. So we are using plus here because of the word sum. That means addition. So x, smaller number, bigger number is x plus 4, and the result is 32. Is means equal sign. All right, so now we have an equation that represents the problem. The next step here is obviously to solve for x. So x plus x is 2x plus 4 equals 32. And then minus 4 on both sides. 2x equals 28. Right? Then divided by 2. X equals 14. Now x is our smaller number. The bigger number, add 4 to that, which is equal to 18. Let's check. Smaller, which is 14, bigger is 18. You add the 2, which is the sum. That equals 32. Now let's answer what is being asked here. Find the smaller number. And obviously that is 14. Let's go to the last example. One number is 3 times as large as another number. When a smaller number is increased by 20, the result is 10, less than twice the larger number. What is the larger number? So here, we can clearly see that there is a smaller number and a smaller number because it's those two numbers, or those two unknown numbers are mentioned here. But just like what we did in the previous example, we need to come up with a representation of the smaller and the larger number. So smaller larger this time. Okay, what is the smaller number here, and what is the, how are we going to represent the smaller and the larger number? Well, let's read the first phrase of the problem. One number is 3 times. Now this is important phrase here. That means multiplication. 3 times as large as another number. Now obviously, between the smaller and the larger, we can say that the smaller is x and the larger number is 3 times the smaller number, which is 3x. Okay, so now we have a representation for the smaller and another representation for the larger number. Let's create an equation from the next part of the problem here. When a smaller number is increased by 20, so when a smaller number, which is your x, is increased, that's plus 20, okay, the result is, that's an equal sign, 10 minus, okay, less than means minus, twice the larger number, so twice the larger number, which is 3x. All right, so how are we going to put those together and come up with an equation? Let's begin with the first, with the statement that says, when a smaller number is increased by 20. When a smaller number is increased by 20, that's your representation for that statement. When a smaller number, which is your x, is increased, that means plus by 20. The result is, that's an equal sign. Now, every time you are working on this kind of phrase, 10 less than twice the larger number, you need to translate that from right going to the left side. So this is what I mean by that. 10 less than twice the larger number, which is 3x. That's how you do that. So now we have an equation. The next step is, of course, solve the equation and solve for x. Here we go. So 2 times 3x is 6x. It's just minus 10. X plus 20. So what I will do here is I'm going to add 10 on both sides. That's 30. This is x equals 6x. And finally, I'm going to subtract x on both sides. So 30 equals 5x. Finally, divide both sides by 5. So x equals 6. Now, we're not done yet. We were able to solve a variable x. We need to answer what is being asked here. And what is being asked is the larger number. X is the smaller number. So to find the larger number, let's just multiply that 6 by 3. And the answer is going to be 18.